Episode 573.
If that wasn't Sumu Cheng, then who the hell was it?
Who is it then? He-Ming asked, being the more practical one. They couldn't wrap their heads around it. If it wasn't Sumu Cheng, who could pull off such brilliant coordination with Ye Shu, could they have guessed wrong all along? Was it really just a lucky fluke? But such precise maneuvers, even if they were just lucky, they were spot on. And 2 in a row, instantly leaving them with no chance to fight back.
Chasing Haze.
Wang Zhe spoke up from the side, giving the character's ID.
Is that his name?
Liu Hao's eyes were locked solely on Lord Grimm, completely ignoring everyone else.
That name does sound a bit familiar.
He-Ming pondered.
There was a video that went viral a while back.
Wang Zhe said, and He-Ming suddenly remembered.
The video of the launcher getting the instant kill, that was this character, right?
What are you talking about?
Liu Hao had been completely focused on the team lately, paying no attention to the gossip swirling around the online gaming world. He-Ming pulled up the webpage, quickly searched for the video, and hit play. All 3 of them gathered around to watch. The series of actions was smooth and seamless, precise and on point, the unmistakable mark of a true expert. But just how strong was he? It was hard to gauge because Chasing Haze's opponent never got a chance to properly show his mettle. Apart from that little scheme he revealed at the very start, after taking that first hit, he didn't even get a chance to struggle.
At least he's not at a pro level.
He-Ming commented on the Blade Master.
Obviously.
Liu Hao said with a touch of annoyance. There was clearly a chance to salvage that situation, but this Blade Master just couldn't do it. With that level of skill, he's obviously nowhere near professional standards. Who couldn't see that? It goes without saying.
But from that short string of attacks, the launcher's skill is pretty solid too. Is this video really that popular?
He-Ming actually wanted to say that this was also nonsense, but since it was the vice captain speaking, he kept it to himself. He just clicked twice on the video's view count with his mouse.
The click count is very high.
Has he been approached by any clubs?
Liu Hao was puzzled.
Hard to say.
He-Ming said, while Wang Zi stood to the side. He always felt a bit awkward about interrupting when these 2 were talking. Yet there was one glaring detail in the video that, for some reason, neither of them seemed to have noticed. Wang Zi finally spoke up.
Look at the Chasing Haze guild.
A guild?
He-Ming paused, puzzled. He rewound the video, paused on a frame of Chasing Haze, and looked at the title above her head. In the guild column, it clearly read, Jia Dynasty. Liu Hao and He-Ming both froze for a moment.
A member of Excellent Dynasty? Could that be Sumu Cheng's alt account?
He-Ming speculated.
Then the person who was just playing couldn't have been Sumu Cheng either.
Liu Hao said this, but it was absolutely positively impossible for someone to have just finished a game and then instantly appear outside his window.
Go check the guild.
Liu Hao spoke again, and so He-Ming swiped his card to log into his elementalist character, Law Knows No Mercy. It wasn't a miracle account, but it was a pro player's character. That alone was enough to cause a stir. The moment Law's Wrath logged in, the entire Dynasty Guild channel took notice. But the 3 of them had no mind to pay it any attention. He-Ming quickly searched the guild member list, but found no trace of a character named Chasing Haze. He checked the video again, confirming the guild's name was correct. Then he could only back out, utterly bewildered. Liu Hao pulled out his phone.
Let me ask around.
Of course, his call went to Chen Yehui. When it came to characters in the game, Chen Yehui was bound to know far more than Liu Hao and the others. Yet, when he asked Chen Yehui about it, the picture became much clearer. Anyone who's been through the 10th server and tangled in guild competition knows this fight was all about rounding the bank challenging Lord Grimm. So when Chen Yehui said that, Liu Hao was immediately stunned. He then asked Chen Yehui about the skill level of the character named Chasing Haze. Chen Guo's skill and her character were both quite decent among the general player base. As she herself would put it, she had a say in the Jia Dynasty Guild. But Chen Guo wasn't a professional guild manager like Chen Yehui and his crew. So, no matter how much influence she had, she was never a core member of Excellent Dynasty. Chen Yehui hadn't paid much attention to this character either, not until the video blew up. Once he learned Ye Chu had played the account, he knew its owner likely had some connection to the legend. He just hadn't figured out a way to use that fact yet. Then, not long ago, this character directly left the Excellent Dynasty Guild. That seems to have been around the same time Ye Chu started building the Happy Guild on the 10th server. It looks like one thing leads to another, but if you say there's a direct connection, there's no real logic to it. But if you say there's no connection, the fact that he was account boosting at least proves Ye Chu and the owner of this account must know each other and be on pretty close terms. After hearing Chen Yehui's explanation, Lu Hao's expression shifted, becoming unreadable. Chen Yehui then casually inquired, trying to sound him out. So, how's the hunt for Lord Grimm going? The question hit Lu Hao right where it hurt. With a dark look on his face, he snapped, "What's the rush?" and hung up.
That one might be with Yi Chu.
Lu Hao reported the results of his inquiries to Heiming and Wang Zhe.
Is Yi Chu training a rookie?
Wang Zi was talking, and Heiming glanced at the video again before adding, "He does seem to have some skill. Is it possible that no club approached him back then, and he just got roped in by Yi Chu?"
No, Yi Chu was already leading the team here by then. They seem to have known each other for quite a while.
Lu Hao said, shaking his head.
A stand-in? So, the chasing haze in this video is actually Yi Chu? If he needed a carry, it means his own skills weren't up to par, right? That's why Ye Chu had to step in.
Not exactly. The person who issued the challenge was targeting Yi Chu, but Yi Chu didn't have a character at the right level, so he borrowed this one to use.
Heiming and Wang Zhe's expressions were both very grave. From this, it was impossible to judge just how strong Chasing Haze really was. Judging solely from today's direct contact, it was undoubtedly terrifying. To be mistaken for Sumo Cheng, just how powerful must she be? At this moment, they could only sincerely hope it was all just a misunderstanding. But even if this person isn't Sumu Cheng, judging by the way the two of them were acting today, at the very least, Ye Chu is using her as a stand-in for Sumu Cheng, right? How much worse could their skills possibly be? Can the three of them handle this slapdash team? They couldn't just go in with their base classes, could they? And so, the three of them continued to drift in a state of anxious uncertainty. Heiming's character had logged out to switch to Law Shows No Mercy, but Lu Hao's avatar was still standing out in the wilderness. Wang Zi's character was stuck at the respawn point, looking utterly desolate and helpless. Offline, they were at a loss for what to do. Then, without warning, a spray of blood blossomed from Lu Hao's character, and a huge chunk of his health bar vanished into thin air. Lu Hao was still mulling over how to deal with Ye Chu when he was suddenly attacked. He was so startled he immediately rolled forward, twisting his body as he went. He looked up and saw it wasn't Lord Grimm at all, but some character he didn't even recognize. They probably saw me standing here, spaced out, and figured I was an AFK player ripe for the picking, so they took the shot. That's the culture of the heavenly domain. Losing 20% of your experience is a real pain, but the insanely high drop rates, they're what really fuel the whole PK craze. Lu Hao saw it was just some nobody and flew into a rage. He couldn't believe even a small fry like this had the nerve to mess with him. Unacceptable. Lu Hao's APM exploded as if he were facing his father's killer. He gritted his teeth and annihilated the ambushing nobody.
Looking for death.
After wiping out a minor character in the online game, Lu Hao declared with an air of solitary arrogance. Heiming and Wang Zhe watched from the side, silently wiping sweat from their brows. It was clear the vice captain was under immense psychological pressure.